Picture a bustling port before the age of containerization. The air is thick with the shouts of dock workers, the groan of wooden crates, and the slow, methodical movement of cargo being loaded and unloaded by hand. Each crate, barrel, and sack must be hoisted, carried, and stowed individually, one laborious piece at a time. This was the world of breakbulk shipping, a system that for centuries defined how goods moved across oceans. Not only was this process slow and exhausting, but it was also prone to accidents, theft, and the constant risk of precious cargo being damaged by the elements or human error. As a result, ports often became choke points, crowded, chaotic, and inefficient. The story of container shipping is one of profound transformation. It stretches back further than many realize, with roots reaching into the 18th century. Early signs of containerization appeared in England, where in 1766, James Brindley crafted an innovative design known as the Starvationer boat. Its purpose was simple but forward-thinking, to transport coal in wooden containers along the country's intricate web of canals. However, these containers were primarily used for moving coal within canal boats and did not yet represent the intermodal concept central to modern containerization. A few decades later, in 1795, Benjamin Outram introduced what many consider the first true container, a wooden box designed for carrying coal by horse, drawn wagons, canal boats, and even railways. This was, by most accounts, an early form of intermodal service, a concept that would one day become central to global trade. The distinction lies in Outram's container being specifically designed for seamless transfer between different modes of transport, a key criterion for what is now recognized as a true container. Through the 1830s and 1840s, wooden and iron containers became increasingly common, particularly in the coal trade. These early innovations hinted at a future where cargo could move between different modes of transport, wagon, canal, railway, without ever being unpacked or exposed. Yet, despite their ingenuity, these early containers remained limited in scope. The world would have to wait over a century for the true revolution to arrive. It was not until the mid-20th century that containerization as we know it today truly took shape. The key figure in this transformation was Malcolm McLean, a trucking entrepreneur with a vision for a more efficient way to move goods. In the 1950s, McLean pioneered the use of standardized containers, an idea that would soon upend the very foundations of freight transport. These containers, built to consistent specifications, could be swiftly loaded and unloaded from ships, trains, and trucks using cranes and forklifts. The need for labor-intensive handling at each stop was dramatically reduced, and the long, costly delays of breakbulk shipping began to vanish. The turning point came in 1956, when the Ideal X, a converted oil tanker, set sail as the world's first container ship. On board were 58 standardized containers, each packed with cargo that would remain sealed from point of origin to final destination. The impact was immediate and profound. What once required days of arduous labor at the dock could now be accomplished in a matter of hours. Costs fell, shipping times shortened, and the entire rhythm of global trade began to accelerate. Containerization did more than just speed up the movement of goods. It revolutionized the world's ports, eliminating the need for vast dockside warehouses and dramatically reducing port congestion. Losses from damage and theft plummeted, and the reliability of shipping soared. For many historians and economists, containerization stands out as a crucial driver of the post-war economic boom and a key element in the broader process of globalization. Today, the scale of container shipping is staggering. By volume, approximately 90% of the world's cargo travels by ship, and for non-bulk goods, containerization is the dominant method. The familiar sight of steel boxes stacked high on ships, trains, and trucks is a testament to the success and ubiquity of this system. These containers are designed to meet rigorous international standards, ensuring they can be transferred seamlessly between different modes of transport anywhere on the planet. This seamless movement defines intermodal transportation. The cargo remains undisturbed inside its container, while the container itself switches effortlessly from ship to rail to truck. To fully appreciate container shipping, it helps to become familiar with the key terminology that shapes the industry. Perhaps the most important unit of measure is the TEU, or 20-foot equivalent unit. This is the standard by which container capacity is measured worldwide. A single 20-foot container is equal to 1 TEU, while a 40-foot container counts as 2 TEU. This simple metric allows shippers, carriers, and ports to communicate with clarity and precision, regardless of location or language. Of course, not all containers are created equal. The industry has developed a variety of specialized containers to meet a wide range of cargo needs. The most common is the dry container, a versatile, fully enclosed steel box designed for general cargo, from electronics to textiles. High-cube containers add extra height, making them ideal for lighter, bulkier loads that need more vertical space. For cargo that must be kept at a specific temperature, refrigerated containers, also known as reefers, come equipped with built-in cooling systems. Tank containers, designed for liquids and gases, feature a cylindrical tank within a robust steel frame. Flat rack containers with collapsible sides are suited for oversized machinery or vehicles that cannot fit into standard boxes. Open top and open side containers provide flexible loading options for cargo that cannot be easily moved through end doors, while special dimension containers cater to the unique requirements of particularly challenging shipments. The global standardization of container sizes is another cornerstone of the system's success. Most containers are built to either 20-foot or 40-foot specifications, allowing them to fit interchangeably onto ships, trains, and trucks around the world. This interoperability is essential. A container loaded in Shanghai can be carried by sea to Rotterdam, transferred to a train bound for Munich, and then placed onto a truck for final delivery, all without ever unpacking the cargo inside. The efficiency and flexibility of this system have reshaped the very geography of trade, making it possible for manufacturers to source components from distant lands and deliver finished products to markets thousands of miles away. While the physical infrastructure of container shipping is vital, so too is the specialized language that the industry relies upon. Newcomers are often confronted with a dizzying array of terms, everything from backhaul and bill of lading to demurrage and feeder ship. For those just starting out, glossaries and reference guides can be invaluable tools, helping to navigate the complexities of contracts, logistics, and regulations. The careful use of precise terminology ensures that everyone involved, shipper, carrier, port operator, and customs official, can coordinate their actions smoothly and efficiently. Despite its many advantages, the rise of containerization did not happen overnight. The transition from break bulk to container shipping required enormous investments in new ships, port equipment, and supporting infrastructure. Ports had to be redesigned to handle massive container cranes, and new systems were needed to track and manage the movement of thousands, even millions, of individual boxes. The labor force, too, underwent profound changes, as traditional jobs gave way to new roles focused on mechanized handling and logistics. One of the most remarkable outcomes of this transformation has been the democratization of global trade. By slashing transport costs and increasing reliability, containerization has opened up international markets to producers and consumers who previously could not afford to participate. It has allowed businesses, large and small, to reach customers on the other side of the world with unprecedented speed and predictability. The very rhythm of daily life, what we buy, what we wear, the food we eat, has been shaped in ways both obvious and subtle by the container revolution. Yet, for all its ubiquity, the story of container shipping is still evolving. The industry continues to innovate, developing new types of containers and smarter logistics systems to meet the demands of a changing world. Environmental concerns, advances in technology, and shifting patterns of trade all play a role in shaping the future of containerized transport. But at its core, the basic principles remain the same: standardized containers, mechanized handling, and the seamless movement of goods across vast distances. It is worth pausing to reflect on just how much the simple steel box has achieved. From its early beginnings in the coal trade of 18th century England to its central role in the global economy of today, the shipping container has made the world smaller, more connected, and more accessible. Its story is one of invention, adaptation, and relentless pursuit of efficiency. A story that continues to unfold every time a container is loaded onto a ship, a train, or a truck, bound for destinations near and far. For those seeking to understand the foundations of modern trade, container shipping offers a compelling lens. It is a field shaped by both grand visions and practical necessities, by the interplay of technology, economics, and human ingenuity. As we look to the future, it is likely that the humble container will remain at the heart of global commerce, carrying with it not just goods but the hopes and ambitions of a world in motion. Note, the following chapters transition from the historical and procedural development of containerization, as described above, to present-day and future developments in the industry, including recent events and trends up to and beyond 2024. The journey of a shipping container across continents is a marvel of precision, coordination, and sheer scale. It begins quietly, far from the roar of ocean waves or the thrum of port machinery, with an order, an agreement between a seller and a buyer, often separated by thousands of miles and several borders. Perhaps it starts in the cool efficiency of a factory floor, the organized bustle of a distribution warehouse, or even the open expanse of a farm. Here, goods are gathered and prepared, bundled and boxed, until they are ready to be packed into a steel box. The humble container whose unassuming exterior belies its role as the workhorse of global commerce. Packing a container requires careful planning. The type of container, whether a standard 20-foot or the more prevalent 40-foot variant, depends on the cargo's weight, volume, and nature. For general goods, the 40-foot container is favored, offering the right balance between capacity and efficiency. Denser, heavier cargo often finds its place in the compact 20-foot container, whose size is easier to handle for particularly weighty loads. Each item is loaded with attention to weight distribution and stability, not only to maximize space but also to ensure the container's safe movement over roads, rails, and seas. The process follows standard operating procedures. Cargo must be properly packaged and secured, the container inspected for cleanliness and integrity, and, once full, sealed with a unique security seal that will remain in place until its destination. This seal is more than a simple lock. It is a mark of accountability, a visible assurance that the container's contents will not be tampered with during the journey. With the doors locked and the seal affixed, the container is ready to move. Its next destination is not the open sea, but a port often many miles away. To bridge this gap, intermodal transport comes into play. A truck, or sometimes a train, arrives to collect the container, lifting it onto a flatbed with specialized equipment. The beauty of the container lies in its versatility. It can be transferred from road to rail to ship without ever being unpacked. This seamless movement across different modes of transport, what industry experts call intermodalism, reduces the risk of loss or damage, lowers handling costs, and speeds up the overall journey. Approaching the port marks a shift in tempo. Ports are vast, bustling ecosystems, equipped with container yards, warehouses, customs offices, and an array of terminals specialized for different cargo types. Here, the container enters a new phase of scrutiny and coordination. Before any international journey can begin, the container and its documentation must clear customs. This process is more than a formality. Customs authorities verify that the cargo matches the manifest, complies with regulations, and is free from prohibited goods. Delays at this stage can ripple through the entire supply chain, so accurate paperwork and proper coordination are essential. Once cleared, the container enters the port's operational heart, the terminal. Within the terminal, specialized teams and sophisticated machinery take over. Towering gantry cranes, operated by skilled crews, lift containers from waiting trucks or rail cars and stack them in the container yard, where they join thousands of others in a carefully organized grid. Each container's location is tracked in real time by digital systems, ensuring that no box is lost or misplaced amid the sea of steel. The terminal itself is a finely tuned environment designed to handle the relentless flow of cargo with speed and precision. As the scheduled ship arrives, a vessel belonging to a liner shipping service operating on fixed routes and timetables, the pace intensifies. Liner shipping lines maintain extensive fleets of ships and containers, orchestrating the movement of assets to optimize capacity and utilization. The container's journey continues as it is lifted by crane from the yard and loaded onto the waiting ship. This process, too, follows strict procedures. Containers are arranged according to a stowage plan that balances the ship's weight, ensures stability, and allows for efficient unloading at multiple ports along the vessel's route. With the last container secured and the ship's manifest submitted to port and customs authorities, the vessel prepares to depart. The manifest, along with a bill of lading and other documentation, provides a detailed account of the cargo on board, its origin, and its intended destination. These documents are essential for compliance, insurance, and tracking, forming a paper trail that follows the container across oceans. The voyage by sea is the most visible chapter in the container's journey, but it is also the most regimented. Container ships adhere to established schedules, moving along fixed routes that connect major ports across the globe. The containers themselves are tracked continuously by digital systems, allowing shippers and consignees alike to monitor their location and status in near real time. This transparency is vital. It minimizes uncertainty, enables efficient planning, and helps all parties respond quickly if unexpected delays or disruptions occur. Upon arrival at the destination port, the process goes into reverse, but the complexity remains. The ship docks at a berth assigned by the port authority. Here, specialized teams, sometimes working around the clock, manage the unloading process. Massive cranes swing into action, lifting containers from the ship and placing them onto waiting trucks or stacking them in the port's container yard. The sequence is carefully choreographed to prevent congestion, minimize damage, and maintain the integrity of the cargo. Inspections are carried out as needed, checking for signs of tampering or damage, and containers are scanned and logged into the port's tracking system. The next hurdle is import customs clearance. Just as at the origin port, Customs officials review the documentation, inspect containers as necessary, and ensure compliance with local laws and regulations. This step is crucial for both security and revenue collection, as duties and taxes may apply. Any discrepancies between the manifest and the cargo can result in delays, inspections, or even penalties. Once cleared, the container is released from the port's custody. The final leg of the journey again relies on intermodal transport. The container is loaded onto a truck or train, depending on the location of its final destination and the local infrastructure. The handoff between sea and land is designed to be as efficient as possible, with digital tracking systems updating the status and location of the container at each stage. This level of visibility is now a baseline expectation in the industry, enabling supply chain managers to plan for just-in-time deliveries, coordinate inventory, and respond to any issues that arise en route. Throughout this process, a cast of key players works behind the scenes to keep everything moving smoothly. The shipper, the party sending the goods coordinates with a freight forwarder, whose expertise lies in arranging transport, handling documentation, and navigating regulatory requirements. Shipping lines provide the vessels and containers, managing the enormous capital investment needed to keep the global fleet running. Port operators oversee the daily operations of the terminal, ensuring that containers are loaded, unloaded, and stored efficiently. Customs brokers offer specialized knowledge to help shippers navigate the complex web of import and export regulations. Inland transport providers, trucking, and rail companies complete the journey by delivering containers to their final destination. Each has a clearly defined role, and their collaboration is essential for the system to function. At every stage, standard operating procedures govern the handling of containers. These procedures are not just bureaucratic hurdles. They are safeguards that protect cargo, ensure the safety of workers, and maintain the efficiency of the entire operation. Inspections verify that containers are free from damage or contamination before loading. Proper packaging and weight distribution are checked to prevent accidents in transit. The use of security seals deters theft and tampering, providing a clear chain of custody from origin to destination. Even the order in which containers are loaded onto a ship or train is meticulously planned, ensuring that those needed first are accessible and that the vessel or vehicle remains balanced throughout its journey. The distinction between ports and terminals is subtle but important. A port, in the broadest sense, is the hub that connects sea and land transport, encompassing a variety of facilities and services. Within each port, terminals specialize in handling different types of cargo. The container terminal is purpose-built for the rapid movement, storage, and transfer of containers. This specialization allows for greater efficiency, as equipment and personnel can be tailored to the unique demands of containerized cargo. The value of what travels in these containers is extraordinary. While containers make up only about 16% of the total maritime shipping volume, they carry more than half of the total value of goods shipped by sea. This reflects the nature of containerized trade. Electronics, machinery, textiles, consumer goods, and countless other high-value products rely on the predictability and security that container shipping provides. Despite the scale and sophistication of the system, container shipping is not without its challenges. The process is highly capital-intensive. Maintaining fleets of ships and containers requires constant investment, strategic planning, and careful asset management. Shipping lines must balance the need to keep vessels full with the reality of fluctuating demand, variable transit times, and unpredictable events such as storms or port congestion. Each link in the chain must operate in harmony with the others. A delay at one terminal can reverberate across continents, affecting schedules, costs, and customer satisfaction. Yet, at its core, the container shipping process is designed to minimize risk, reduce costs, and ensure timely delivery. It achieves this through careful planning, rigorous documentation, and close coordination among all parties involved. The digital revolution has added new layers of transparency and control, transforming what was once a largely opaque process into one that can be monitored and managed from anywhere in the world. In the end, the journey of a single container encapsulates the complexity and ingenuity of modern logistics. From the moment goods are packed and sealed at their origin, to their careful transfer across trucks, trains, and ships, to their eventual arrival and unloading at a distant port, each step is part of a finely tuned choreography. It is a process that has become so routine, so efficient, that its complexity is often invisible to those who benefit from its results. Yet behind every delivery, every box on a store shelf, every component in a factory, every product ordered online, there lies a story of coordination, precision, and global partnership, all made possible by the unassuming steel container and the intricate process that moves it around the world. When you picture the arteries of global trade, it is the container ships, vast, efficient, and ceaselessly moving, that come to mind. Yet beneath this streamlined facade, the industry faces a storm of challenges and a race for innovation that will shape its future. In recent years, the business of moving boxes across oceans has become a microcosm of the wider world, subject to shifting tides, unpredictable winds, and a constant need to adapt. This chapter moves the narrative into present-day and future developments, following earlier chapters that focused on the historical and procedural evolution of container shipping. One of the most pressing issues in container shipping today is overcapacity. In 2023, the global fleet's capacity jumped by 10%, a surge that outpaced demand. This imbalance disrupted the equilibrium between supply and need. Ships that once sailed full now find themselves with empty holds, and the competition to fill those spaces has driven freight rates downward. This squeeze on pricing is more than a matter of profit and loss. It ripples through the entire chain, affecting investment, employment, and strategies for future growth. Carriers, bolstered by record profits from earlier years, are now compelled to find ways to weather leaner periods, an exercise in resilience and foresight. But capacity is only part of the story. The world's geopolitical landscape has grown increasingly unsettled, and this turbulence is acutely felt in the shipping lanes. Historic maritime corridors such as the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, and the Red Sea have all become flashpoints for disruption. By mid-2024, Suez Canal transits had plummeted by 70%, forcing a dramatic rerouting of vessels around the Cape of Good Hope, a detour that saw arrivals there surge by nearly 90%. Each of these diversions adds days or even weeks to transit times, inflates fuel costs, and complicates the careful choreography of global supply chains. For companies and consumers waiting on goods, the effects are tangible: uncertainty, delays, and sometimes empty shelves. Bottlenecks at key ports and along major routes underscore how fragile even the most sophisticated logistics networks can be when confronted by political unrest, conflict, or climate-induced changes. Layered atop these operational hurdles are profound environmental concerns. Container ships are the lifeblood of international trade, but they come with a heavy cost to the planet. Shipping accounts for about 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. A figure that may sound modest until you consider the scale. The largest container ships can emit as much pollution as 50 million cars. The main culprit is bunker fuel, a dense, tar-like substance favored for its energy content and low price, but notorious for its toxicity. When burned, it releases not just carbon dioxide, but sulfur oxides and other pollutants that settle over oceans and coastal cities alike. The harm extends below the waterline as well, with marine environments suffering from oil spills, ballast water discharges, and the cumulative impact of ship traffic. Faced with growing scrutiny, the industry is subject to a tightening web of environmental regulations. The International Maritime Organization, or IMO, has rolled out a suite of measures aimed at reducing the sector's ecological footprint. Among these, the MARPOL Convention stands as a cornerstone, mandating controls on ship pollution and setting limits on emissions. The sulfur cap, introduced to curb harmful exhaust, requires vessels to use cleaner fuels or install costly scrubbers. The Energy Efficiency Design Index pushes for smarter, less wasteful ship designs, while the Ballast Water Management Convention seeks to protect marine ecosystems from invasive species carried in ships' tanks. Each new rule compels shipping lines to rethink how their fleets operate, invest in cleaner technologies, and adapt to a regulatory environment that grows stricter each year. The scale of the challenge is daunting. Sustainability, once a buzzword, is now a central pillar of business strategy. Carriers are channeling funds into the development of alternative fuels, including ammonia, hydrogen, and methanol. These options promise lower emissions but present technical and logistical hurdles of their own. The search for energy-efficient ship designs has spurred innovation in hull shapes, propulsion systems, and onboard energy management. On land, ports are electrifying equipment once powered by diesel cranes, trucks, and automated vehicles. To cut emissions at the critical juncture where sea meets shore, the ambition is clear: net zero emissions by 2050. Yet reaching this goal is projected to require investment on an unprecedented scale, perhaps as much as $1.4 trillion, and success will hinge on collaboration between shipping lines, port authorities, energy providers, and governments worldwide. Amid these obstacles, the industry is also witnessing a technological revolution. Digitalization and automation are rewriting the playbook for how containers are tracked, ships are managed, and ports are run. Blockchain technology, for example, has begun to streamline documentation and enhance trust among trading partners. Maersk's TradeLens platform is a leading example, using distributed ledgers to ensure documents are accurate, tamper-proof, and instantly accessible to all parties in the supply chain. This reduces paperwork, speeds up transactions, and minimizes the risk of fraud or error. The use of the Internet of Things, IoT, has unlocked new possibilities for real-time monitoring. Sensors embedded in containers now transmit data on location, temperature, humidity, and even potential tampering, enabling shippers to track cargo with unprecedented precision. Predictive analytics, fueled by vast streams of digital information, allow operators to optimize routes, anticipate maintenance needs, and avoid costly delays. The result is a system that is not only more transparent, but also more agile, better able to respond to the unexpected twists and turns that define global trade. Automation is transforming the physical side of the business as well. Ports are increasingly populated by robotic cranes, guided vehicles, and automated stacking systems. Instead of relying solely on human operators, these machines work around the clock, loading and unloading ships with speed and accuracy. Digital appointment systems coordinate the arrival and departure of trucks, reducing congestion at terminal gates and improving throughput. AI-powered platforms analyze vast data sets to refine scheduling, allocate resources, and predict bottlenecks before they occur. This evolution is turning traditional ports into intelligent, connected ecosystems. By integrating digital platforms, artificial intelligence, and IoT-enabled tracking, port authorities are enhancing not just efficiency, but also safety and sustainability. A container's journey can now be visualized from ship to shore and beyond, with every movement logged and analyzed. This level of integration helps ports manage surges in traffic, respond to disruptions, and minimize their environmental impact. The industry's landscape is also shifting in response to broader patterns in global trade. Companies are increasingly looking to diversify their supply chains, moving away from over-reliance on any one country or region, China in particular. This trend toward nearshoring and regionalization is redrawing shipping lanes and fostering new partnerships. For carriers and port operators, adapting to these changes means rethinking their networks, investing in infrastructure, and cultivating flexibility in their operations. Looking forward, the future of container shipping is defined by volatility and transformation. The cycles of boom and bust, driven by shifts in capacity, demand, and regulation, require procurement strategies that are nimble and robust. Companies must plan not just for the next quarter, but for long-term resilience in the face of unpredictable events, whether they are geopolitical crises, regulatory shifts, or technological breakthroughs. Yet in the midst of these uncertainties, there are reasons for optimism. Financially, the sector remains robust, drawing on the windfall of recent years to invest in innovation and resilience. Enhanced cooperation across the industry is fostering a culture of shared problem-solving, from joint infrastructure projects to collaborative digital platforms. Investment in port facilities, green technologies, and digital tools is laying the groundwork for a more resilient, sustainable, and efficient future. The story of container shipping today is one of challenge and reinvention. It is an industry that must contend with the consequences of growth, overcapacity, environmental impact, and shifting trade patterns while embracing the promise of new technologies. The path forward will not be easy, and the pace of change is relentless. But for those who move the world's goods, the mandate is clear: innovate, adapt, and collaborate, or risk being left behind in the ever-accelerating current of global commerce. As the sun sets over a horizon traced by the silhouettes of cargo ships, the future of container shipping remains unwritten. What is certain is that the challenges ahead will demand not only ingenuity, but also a shared commitment to building a system that is as enduring as it is dynamic, one that can weather storms, transcend borders, and sustain the flow of trade for generations to come.